You know your offer, you know your numbers, and then the call starts and your chest gets super tight, or you start speaking a million miles an hour, you're breathing shallowly. Most people think this means they need a better script or you need more training or you're just not ready, but it doesn't, right? Your body just thinks that the moment is literally physically dangerous and it's trying to protect you. Doesn't know the difference between your psychological fear and a real life threat. Today, I want to show you what's actually happening and how to get to where sales stop feeling like a threat. Welcome back to Built for Impact. I am Jake Burhans, and this is the podcast where inner peace meets high performance, and where building your dream life starts from the inside out. All right, we're going to get into sales anxiety. This is something I dealt with for a long time. Really, this is just anxiety in general, but we'll kind of cater it around sales here. First thing we need to understand is, why do we get anxious? I need you to understand it's a completely normal response for your body to feel anxiety, stress, fear, or doubt around an unfamiliar situation. That's the key underpinning or the undertone of this whole episode. Why do you have sales anxiety? Because it's an unfamiliar situation. Anytime you're going into an unfamiliar situation, whether it's a sales call, a performance, a meeting, a date, a presentation, whatever it is, your body wants to keep you out of there. And it makes sense physiologically, because when we were evolving in villages, like if we were overly optimistic and just running into the woods and doing this and that, we would have been killed off as a species. So the studies show that actually about 80% of our thoughts are negative, and for a good reason, because it's allowed us to survive. Because when you're out in the woods and you don't know what's going on, you have to assume worst case scenario. But that hasn't really translated well into the daily life we live now, where we're not 99.999% of the time, we're not in a physically life-threatening situation, but our body just doesn't know the difference, right? Our nervous system lives inside our body, and it's just getting impulses from our heart and our breathing and our muscle tone and our posture and all these things as to whether we're safe or not. So when we go into an unfamiliar situation, right, and because we don't know what's going to happen, we tense up, right? Our heart starts racing, our muscles get tight, and that sends signals from our body through our vagus nerve up to our brain, right, to tell us that, hey, we're in threat mode, and we go into anxiety. So the first thing is understanding that anxiety is completely normal, okay? Because I think we tend to make up stories when we feel anxious or stressed about how we're not capable or we're not prepared. And that couldn't be farther from the truth. You don't get anxiety because you're incapable. You get anxiety because you're human. Okay. Second thing is learning how to feel anxiety in your body. Like, you have to literally get comfortable with the feeling. Get comfortable with the feeling of anxiety, of doubt, of worry. In psychocybernetics, he references a psychologist who made an argument that there's only one human emotion, and it's excitement. And everything is just a different form of excitement. And whether that's true or not, I think it's a powerful reframe, because I've heard of athletes too, like Olympians or people who have these big performances, they still get the butterflies in their stomach, but they label it as excitement. And I kind of agree with that. I kind of like the butterflies now, because I'm like, something big is about to happen. Whereas before, I would get that anxiety in my stomach and the story would be different. The story would be, oh my gosh, you're not ready. What if this happens? What if that happens? So learning to feel anxiety, and then also how we're labeling it, right? Is it a good thing or a bad thing? Now, it is good to be like, a little bit stressed. They call it eustress, like a healthy stress to a certain extent, but there's a very slippery slope there where it starts to become overwhelming. And most of us are way on the other end where we're overwhelmed. So it's good to have a little bit of butterflies. It's going to make you more alert, heighten your senses, and help you execute at a higher level. But we need to understand, like, if you almost think about a gauge or like a little speedometer, right? At 9 o'clock, think about a clock, 0 at 9 o'clock, overwhelmed at 3 o'clock. You want to be at like 10 or 11, right? You want to be kind of like a little bit, but not too much. But most of us are living at like 1 or 2 or even 3, and we're just completely overwhelmed. So we got to get comfortable feeling anxiety. And this also goes to our childhood. Like, if we didn't understand in our childhood how to feel anxiety in our body and how to feel stress and worry in our body and understand that it's okay, it's part of being human, and how to deal with it, we didn't learn that sort of emotional regulation. So now in our adult lives, we avoid anything that makes us feel anxious, stressed, or worried, because we never learned how to feel that emotion in our body as a kid. So the more that we can welcome it in, the better we're going to manage it. And just, again, familiarity. It's all about familiarity. The more we familiarize ourselves with feeling anxious or feeling sad or feeling doubt or feeling worry, the easier it's going to be. And as you start to do more of this work, the feelings will just come in and they'll go. Like I still might get some anxiety, but I don't fight it. I just let it come in whoosh, and then it goes right back out in 10 seconds, right? Comes in, goes out, comes in, goes out. Because I don't resist it. I just let it be there and it floats away like a cloud. Third thing here is getting familiar with it. So I've told you here so far that getting nervous and anxious is normal. So stop resisting it and making up the story about you not being capable. Get familiar with it in your body so you can learn to be comfortable and anxious, right? The second thing is we want to use visualization to familiarize ourselves with this event because our brain doesn't know the difference between visualizing something in the first person, right, through our eyes and actually doing it. So say I got nervous to get on the phone for a sales call, right? And say I went away on vacation and on that vacation, every day, 10 times a day, or just 10 repetitions at one point in the day, maybe in the morning, I would visualize myself sitting down, opening my laptop, pulling up the lead, dialing the phone, putting the phone to my head. Hey, John, how you doing? Da, 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 da. And I do that. Maybe it's a 30-second little thing. And I do it 10 times. By the time I get back after a week, my body will have actually thought that I picked up the phone and did 70 sales calls. It won't know the difference if you do it right. Make it realistic. Don't make it something crazy, like something that would actually happen. You're sitting down, an actual call, right? And you might even feel your body getting a little bit anxious as you pick up the phone, right? Because it's triggering that unfamiliarity. So that's good. You want to feel a little bit anxious in your visualizations. That means that you're tapping into that unfamiliar territory, but over time it's going to be more familiar. But I guarantee if you went away for a week or even took a week's worth of time, visualize something 10 times a day, that next week you're going to feel significantly better because your system is now familiar with it, right? It's all about familiarity. Think about it. Anything that's ever been nerve-wracking to you, presentation, call, sales call, meeting, whatever it is, the anxiety is the most when, right before the thing. It's like, oh my gosh, it's about to happen. I don't know. There's so many unknowns. But the second that you get into the groove of the event, right, and you start getting comfortable, you're like, oh, and it's usually like a couple minutes in, right? You're like, your body recognizes, oh, Jake actually has done this before. Oh yeah, he can talk to people. He does this all day long, right? I'm on the phone. I'm nervous for the sales call. I step into it, right? And then my system's like, oh yeah, Jake talks on the phone all the time. This is no different. We're just making up the story in our head. So again, familiarity. The system understands, oh, this is a familiar environment and it relaxes. So we can use visualization to continue that. Next thing is awareness. So I talk about awareness, the spotlight of your awareness. You are not your thoughts or emotions. But inevitably, when you go do something that's unfamiliar, whether it's a sales call or, again, any of those things, you're going to feel some level of anxiety always because there's always an element of uncertainty there. So we can visualize, and we should, to reduce it as much as possible, but there's always going to be some level of uncertainty. And we need to be able to deal with that uncertainty when it comes. Again, expect it, get comfortable with the feeling. And thirdly, as those thoughts come in, we need to be aware of those thoughts and let them go. So what are the thoughts? Our mind gets creative. It's like, well, this is not the best prospect, or this is not the best time. I'm going to eat first, then I'm going to come back. Or, this guy's good, but he's probably just, he's not that motivated. He doesn't really want this, right? We're assuming, right? Our mind can get very creative in getting us out of something that makes us feel uncomfortable. Again, it's very good because it thinks it's keeping us safe. It doesn't know that this is objectively good for us, that we're growing. So we have to cultivate that awareness in the moment. Like as these thoughts are coming in, we got to observe them and let them go. Because if we don't, we're going to get caught up in that hamster wheel of, oh, I'm not ready yet. Or let me just do one more run through. Or this guy's not the best guy. Like I have to recognize, hey, mind's just trying to keep me out of the unfamiliar. I'm ready for this. I know in my heart of hearts, I'm ready to rock. Boom, let's go. So awareness, that's kind of like the finishing piece there. Then as an overarching theme, you need to be bought into what you're selling. That is a huge thing. Like, and with wholesaling, I was like, I knew we were helping people and we do help people. And my mindset has really changed on this. But for a long time in the beginning, I felt like I was burdening people. I was calling them. I didn't want to bother them. Like now with Built, like I call a lot of people. I have no issues with it because I'm so bought into it. Like I know that it helps people. I know it's a valuable product. And even if some people think I'm weird, whatever, if I can find that one person who does need the help, it's worth it for me. It's worth it for me to suffer that embarrassment and that whatever so that I can actually help someone with my service. So I think it's very important. Like, why are you selling what you're selling? That's probably one of the most important things. Like, you have to be aligned in your values. You have to feel like you are sold on this thing. Like, this is the thing I know can help people. Boom, right? It's like sell or be sold. Grant Cardone. It's like you're not selling someone, like you're sold. Like this is the only option. And when you do that, that also allows you to push through the anxiety and stuff a lot more because you're like, you believe in that product and that belief can carry you through the anxiety and the stress. If you guys got any value out of this, share it with someone. who's got some sales call anxiety. I know we all got it. New episodes every Monday. If you haven't subscribed to the show, you could do that. And if you're not in the Built for Impact community, that is the best place to get started. Link is in the bio. Let's rock and roll. Till next time, all the peace, all the power.